Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the pre-match mix. So, match week 1 in the Premier League is done and dusted, and would you believe it, it only took less than 45 minutes for the PGMOL's finest to come up with the first howler of the season. We've got Joel the Ref with us today, and he'll be taking us through the main talking points from the first week of the fixtures. On to the fancy football, and Josh Dillon has taken an early lead on match week 1. His trio of Haaland, Semenyo and Kudus done the damage. Jonathan Duffy is currently in second, and his inspired choice of Ekatike with a goal and assist bagged in the points. And Jack Cook is currently taking the third spot. He's had a solid effort, but he did leave Reinders on the bench, which cost him 10 points. And there's rumours that in match week 2 there will be a chance of a bench boost being put in place. So yeah, watch this space. So on today's episode, we've got Col and Joel the Ref. Let's get into it. Do you want to get after it then?
Yeah,
come.
Do you want to start off with Joel? Do you want to?
Yeah, we'll go with Joel. So I think last time around, Joel, we said we weren't going to pick on you for anything VAR related, but this season we're going to say fuck it. And we want you to give your opinion on the main topics. Now, I think the first one that we spoke about was, and it took less than 45 minutes for the first half of the season. It was Liverpool and Bournemouth. There was, initially a ball to hand, but then there was a clear swipe towards the ball, which VAR decided to brush away and not even send the referee to the monitor. So. Yeah, what's your take on it? Because I thought it was fucking scandalous.
Well, yeah, we're off to a flyer, aren't we, with these VAR decisions 45 minutes onto the Friday on the first day. It was another strange one. And I think it's just continued that from last season, really. He's on the halfway line, isn't he, Senesi? And he stuck his hand out and it looks like he's changed the flight of the ball. It looks pretty obvious when you're watching it live that he's seemed to stop Ekatike running through, which makes you think straight off, yeah, it's a red card. Referee then blows for a foul on what looks like he's going to go and have a view of the handball, but doesn't. And he gives the foul against us, which confused me because they're showing all the replays of this in the meantime. And I couldn't tell whether they were debating whether he'd actually touched the ball or whether it was a denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity.
All happened a bit quick, and it was like, the referee was just kind of, play on kind of thing. And, it seems, and Jamie Carragher alluded to it, that they didn't seem to even review the second handball where he's made, the clear, swipe at the ball.
Yeah, like he seemed to have gone with the easier decision and said, oh, there was a foul in the build-up to it. But that didn't really seem like it was clear, or whether it was clearly communicated to people watching it on the telly, at least. If he does give the handball, then it is a red card. That's what he's checking for, because although he's got half full of space to run into with the ball, and he might have one defender covering him, that's an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, is it not? The keeper's probably on the edge of the 18-yard box.
Well, I guess the question to you then, is it a red card and is it an obvious denial of a goal-scoring opportunity because he is so far off the pitch?
Yeah, that's one of the considerations that might mitigate it, but if there was a couple of defenders behind him, or the sort of game state was a bit more in front of him, you'd probably easily be able to argue it that it wasn't a red, but they were defending on the halfway line at the time. There's no one past him. Ekatike's going to run through, and he's got a 1v1 on the keeper. So I think the referee has bought the easy way out of that one for me.
No controversy. First game of the season. Let's not kick off. But then it just causes controversy because you haven't give it, and it's obvious. So
exactly, and that probably played into his mind as well. It's the first game. It's on a Friday. All eyes are on him. It's the first big decision.
Bottled it. Okay, sounds so. That was the Friday game, first game of the season. Saturday, we'll skip Saturday. We'll go straight on to the Sunday. Chelsea versus Palace. This is a new rule that's coming. I think most of us know the new rule, but we've seen a very good Palace free kick struck off because it appeared that Gueye put himself too close to the wall. Obviously, a new rule. It looked to me like if you're going in line with the rule, it's the right decision. What was your take?
Yeah, I think this is new-ish. I don't think it's new to this season, but it's relatively new, possibly last season. If there's a wall, and it's going to sound really boring here, but if there's a wall of 3 or more defending players, the attacking team have to be 1 meter away from it, which is what they've given in that circumstance. Now, what is weird about the fact that was it Gueye in the wall? Was it? He seems to have pushed him. There was two defending walls, and he seems to have pushed the player into the other wall. So there was sort of the way they'd set up. You don't really see it at a lower level, but there's 2 walls, and he's pushed them across. And I don't think he was within. He was further than a meter away than either wall. I think it comes into the VAR process again. Why is that being flagged, and why was it not given on field at the time? Why, like you've seen referees last season go up to the wall with the spray. They've put the defensive wall out. They've marched the attacker away and sprayed it 1 meter away, and there's been no issue with it. So whether he's missed that at the time, I don't know. I didn't see the game myself on Sunday, but I think it's possibly the fact that he's pushed him into the wall. But I've definitely never seen a VAR review for that before.
Yeah, and I think the way I kind of looked at it was he has pushed him into the wall, but he almost seemed to push the player out the way of where the flight of the ball went, which then went in the net. I think for me that was probably a bit of it as well. He's clearly pushed the player out the way in order to create that space, and maybe there's been a bit of that in the decision making process as well. And I think by the letter of the law, he was within a meter of the wall, and that's that kind of thing. But yeah, I think at the time, it's almost like a perfectly good goal's been struck off. But I know that again, another one of the real changes this season, as we know, is going to be a lot less, more emphasis on the pushing and shoving and cracking down on that. So yeah, maybe there's a bit of both in that sense.
Yeah, there's probably that angle as well. You probably see more and more of that in this now. I think this first week, always the first few weeks anyway, sets a bit of a precedent for the rest of the season, doesn't it? Sometimes they'll stick down that route for the whole season. Sometimes you see it in the first few weeks, and it never happens again because of it. But it could be one of them. But
and I think, as we always say, there'll be some decisions that start off at the start of the season, and then they'll tail off when they start to get to grips with the rules and the players start to get involved. So yeah, we'll see what pans out with that one. And the final one then, Joel, is from Monday night's game, Everton versus Leeds. There was a shot on goal, which I only seen this for the first time yesterday. Shot on goal, and it took a deflection, slight deflection.
Yeah.
The Everton defender has leaned in that direction. It's hit the arm, and the referee's given the pen. So what was your take on it?
2 things to this, really. One's the law, and one is the VAR application again. I think, as you said, he has leaned into it. I do feel for him in a way, because you could argue, what else is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to cut his arms off? Is he not meant to have arms in the box? He's seen it late because there's been a deflection. It sort of deflected into the ground and bounced up again. Yes. So I do feel for him in that way. His arms are by his side, and that deflection. But he's got his arms behind his back, and he's leant into it. He doesn't need to. One of the angles makes it look like it's his chest, the one from behind the goal mouth. You could then argue he could have left that for Pickford, but as a defender, you're not going to do that, are you? You take the block on yourself. He's got his arms behind his back, which is slightly out. Fine, that's a natural position. I think the fact that he's leant down like that, you can't see it on camera, but there was probably a bit of space between his arm and his chest, and then it's gone the other way. So at the time, I said it was a penalty, because of the way he's leant towards it. Now, what sparked the controversy really is how the referee and the VAR and the assistants have gone about it. So the referee seemed to wait and put his hand to his ear. And then I think it was 6 or 7 seconds later, they said on Monday Night Football, he's gone, yeah, it's a penalty. So I think they've tried to go with that initial on-field decision penalty. Looks like they were reviewing it from a VAR perspective first, but then Tarkowski said after the game that the assistant actually gave it, and he was 45 yards away. So the referee might have been blocked for his view as to whether he's leant into it or whether it's his upper arm or his sleeve, which wouldn't be handball, or any lower, which would be. So you don't know what communication's gone on between the referee and the assistant there. It did seem a little bit rushed for me, and the process towards it, maybe he's tried to just give it, as I say, and then we'll review it. And then I think Tarkowski said himself he seemed fairly confident at the time that it was going to get overturned for that. So yeah, bit of an odd one, but gut feeling for me was penalty.
Yeah, and I think as you said on one of the pods last season, you know what I mean. The advice that you were given was, you're either a penguin or a seagull, and if you're a penguin, you've got your arms by your sides and you're going to be safe.
Yeah.
That incident on Monday probably flies a little bit against that, and again, there's probably mitigating circumstances in that Tarkowski's leaning into it, and it looks as though almost like his arm's coming toward the ball rather than he's trying to get out the way in that sense. But I think one of the things we've certainly seen on match week 1 is there seems to be a rush with the VAR to get on with things, and that's probably to the detriment of the right decision. Whether again that's part of some of the brief and the communication from the PGMOL, but that's certainly some of the things that I think we've noticed already.
Yeah, definitely. I think as I say, they might iron some of this out, but it does seem a little bit quicker than last season. It's what we were asking for it to be quicker, but probably still needs to be a bit more clarity on what's gone into the thought process of a decision without re-refereeing the game every time.
And I think we've said for a long time, haven't we? As football supporters, we don't mind it taking a long time as long as it gets to the right result. And unfortunately, at this moment in time, they're doing it quick and still getting to the wrong result. So it's kind of like,
yeah, exactly. And I think with the handball, that's not been black and white for years, has it? Like it's not as clear cut as offside. You're offside or you're not. Handball has been chopped and changed for years now. And then obviously the VAR process is complicated and all, as I'll keep saying.
Yeah, my hot take is handball in the box, indirect free kick. So you'll just eradicate all of this straight away.
Yeah, that'd be more fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. So let's see what that brings. There'll be a shift and a hit, Shearer style. Cole, you remember that?
Watching it, I thought he tried to get his arm out the way. I thought he was more like a penguin, as you put it. I thought as he leans, he pulls it out, and it goes that fast, he can't react. And I think all I was thinking, obviously, watching the match was we needed Everton to draw for our bet from last week on the pod for 125 quid, and we agreed to cash out at 100. We said, Thibaut said, let it ride. And I said, right, we'll go to 100. We'll take 100. That's good to build on the pot. And I was watching the match, and it got to like 65 quid, then 70 quid, then 75 quid, then 80 quid. So I've got my phone watching it, waiting for the 100, and then it dropped to 12 quid. And I thought, and then the pen happened. I just seen someone shooting. Then Tarkowski, he's a unit. He's big, isn't he? He's heavy. He's not very, very flexible. So he's trying to bend to block it. And yeah, and what got me was when it happens, I'm thinking, don't give the pen. It zoomed in on Tarkowski, then he's coming away. He's pointing to his arm, saying it's hit him there. And I'm thinking, he wasn't even trying to say it come off my chest and onto my arm. He was just saying it hit my arm, and I thought he's going to give that. What an absolute nightmare. But I think going back to the rules, I just think some of the rules need to be made more simple. I think it's no good adding more rules in there, because a lot of people, like that free kick when it happened, I didn't know about that meter rule. And I think when I was watching listened to all of the pundits talk about it and stuff, half of them didn't know about it. You know, the pundits didn't know, and the players who are meant to be professionals. You know, if us fans don't know, the players should know. A lot of the players talk on Sky Sports and stuff. They didn't even know about it. So maybe, I don't know whether there's too many rules at the moment, because a lot of fans seem to be very puzzled, don't they, by some of the events.
Yeah, and I think Sky are quite good at, quickly clarifying what it says in the rule book, but it's the application of it, isn't it? And people on the ground knowing what's going on, and probably fans sat there at Stamford Bridge thinking, what's going on here? Why are they checking that? Perfectly good goal from a direct free kick.
Yeah, all I'm thinking is Tarkowski, week 1 on the bets. We won a couple of smaller bets, but that was our bigger one. He cost us, so I'm blaming him.
I'm blaming you, Cole, because you mentioned it. As soon as you mention it, that's it. It was fucked.
Yeah, Murphy's Law, that is, isn't it?
Murphy's Law, yeah.
If it can happen, it will happen. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Well, listen, let's talk a little bit of bet, and then let's talk a little bit of footy as well. So, Joel, what we're doing each week, we're doing 5 bets each week. We're normally asking the guest on, so we're probably catching you by surprise here this week. But if we look at the weekend's games, then if you looked at the weekend's games, is there any teams, any players, anything you fancy for the weekend, Joel? Putting you on the spot.
Well, I definitely fancied the Liverpool-Newcastle game. I don't think the markets have come out yet, but I think there'll be fireworks in that game. A few yellow cards and a few reds maybe. Definitely think there'll be goals in that. So I was having a look on the slip before. I've gone over 2.5 goals. Newcastle, Liverpool. I've gone Palace to beat Forest. And I've gone Brighton to beat Everton as well, which is 7-1. That's a threefold.
Doing all 3. We'll do separate ones on them. We'll put them in an accumulator as well. No, good pick.
Me and Joel never conferred there, by the way. So just Joel, I put it to Cole before. I've done Liverpool Newcastle over 3.5 goals at 2.25.
Not a bad choice.
Yeah, great minds there, Joel. Well done.
I wonder what price, and we'll look at this afterwards, for the bookings or the red card in that game, because I do fancy whatever that's going on between the two clubs. I think it will be a bit feisty.
Yeah, I'll have a bit of needle, won't it?
Yeah, good show.
Yeah. So what do you fancy for this weekend? Did you say you fancy over 3.5 goals in that?
Yeah. Like Joel said, I think it's going to be tasty. The Newcastle players and the fans are going to be so up for it in that game. I think we're seeing obviously on Friday that Liverpool have got the frailties at the back. I don't know whether Gravenberch is back. Is he back for this one? I'm not sure.
I think he was only suspended for 1 game.
Was he? Well, that will help shore it up. But you've got 2 brand new fullbacks for Liverpool, and that's going to take time. So I think you look at the stats from Villa versus Newcastle. Newcastle had a lot of shots, a lot of attempts, especially away from home as well. I appreciate part of that game. Villa were down to 10 men. They're going to come at Liverpool simply, and the exact situation is only going to add fuel to the fire. I think it's always a feisty game, Liverpool versus Newcastle. So yeah, I just think there's going to be goals in it, and it could go either way for me. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, why don't we then? We'll do over 3.5 on one of the singles. We'll do the 2 other singles, what Joel mentioned as well. But we'll do the over 2.5 in the roll-up, and we'll put another team onto that. I think I'm just looking at now we're talking as well. I watched the Villa game versus Newcastle. I thought Villa were dreadful. I mean, dreadful. So I'm going to go for my bet. They're away to Brentford. Brentford scored 1, didn't they, the first game? I'll go under 2.5 goals in the Brentford Villa match. That as my picks. That gives us 4 picks. We need 1 more between us, or we can pop it on the Instagram and ask someone. If we post the reel at the moment, because we're starting off, about 200 people watch it. Don't we see if we can get someone to pick one and throw in the mix? Unless you fancy anything else.
No, let's throw it out there. I mean, we've got a lot of people in the Fancy Footy League, so by all means, we can. I'm sure one of them will come up with a suggestion. So yeah, let's have your suggestions, and we'll throw it on for you.
Other things I was going to talk about as well. Did any of you see the PFA team last night? Team of the season.
What, with 6 Liverpool players in it?
6 Liverpool players, yeah.
So, yeah. You know what I found strange on it? There wasn't a right back in it, was there? Normally, traditionally, there's always a right back in there, Trent or Kyle Walker or someone, but I think last season they mustn't have had many right backs to choose from because they didn't pick one, did they?
No, and we were having a little chat about this last night, and I think it's probably due to maybe a bit of lack of quality in what happened last season. You picked out, quite smartly. There was no attacking midfielders in that lineup, and as I was arguing back, I think it was because they were all shite last season. And, I think the example I put on was, Fernandez got snubbed, but Iwobi scored more goals than him, and I think that tells you more about it than anything else.
Well, you know what it supports, I think. We done that episode last season, didn't we, on the stats, on shots outside the box dropping year on year and chances dropping year on year. And I think if you look at midfielders in the Premiership last season, probably for the last 3 or 4 seasons, really, a lot of them are more just efficient midfielders, aren't they? A lot of them are a bit more stable, but they're not very expansive or not very adventurous. And I don't know, a few of the games I watched the weekend gone, I hope we turn the corner a little bit because a few of the games I watched were brilliant at the weekends. They were the opposite of what we were seeing last season. So hopefully we'll get a bit more of that. And I do think with coaches and teams as well, if you have a team at the top doing well, the way City played well and attacked last week, and Paris Saint-Germain last season, they were attacking, weren't they? I think when the top teams do that, the other teams tend, because it's successful, the other teams follow them. Because you've had City doing well over the years, Arsenal try and copy where they just keep the ball, and everyone tries to follow the crowd, don't they? So hopefully this season will be a bit more exciting, I reckon.
Yeah, I don't know whether you see in the aftermath of the Liverpool Bournemouth game, but Neville and Carragher were talking about this very thing, and Neville was saying, he's all for the attack and open play, because I think for too long, and we talked about, pep ball and stuff like that, it's kind of strangled the game, and you've seen a few instances last season where Wolves, were a goal down and they're trying to play it out from the back in the 88th minute. It's like, come on, let's have a go. And it seems that maybe we are turning the corner with the football, and that's the way it is. As Carragher rightly pointed out, from a Liverpool point of view, he's having heart attacks about it because he doesn't want Liverpool to be so open and so exposed. But I think from especially from a neutral point of view, they'll be all over it, and it'll be a much more exciting proposition, I think.
Yeah, the best thing was Slot responded to that, weren't it? Slot was having none of it, wasn't he? And he sort of turned around and said, well, this is the way we're going to play, which was quite refreshing, I thought. It
is, but then you've got your flip sides of where we've spoke about some of the managers who doggedly stick to a formula, whether it's good or bad, and we've seen it with Ammon, and we've seen it with the Southampton manager, and you just think, guys, you've got to change this. It just ain't working. So we'll see how the season comes out. It's only the first game.
Yeah, you've got to be tactically flexible as well. I think to do that, you can have your style of play and your philosophy, but you've got to be able to adapt in the game as well. I think Postecoglou was the same.
You took the words out of my mouth then.
Chelsea last season or the season before, I think they went down to 9 men. He just couldn't adapt at all.
Yeah, and the 9 men he had on the halfway line then, didn't he?
Yeah. Fascinating game that, but yeah, I think you've got to be flexible as well as sticking to your principles.
Yeah, I agree, Joel. I agree, mate. Well, listen, I think that's us wrapped up. Then we'll choose our bets. We'll get our bets on. The fancy footy is up and running now. So again, thanks to everyone entering. I think we've got 27 people in that. So that's really good. Are we going to close the fancy footy? Do you reckon, Feeney? Should we close it at a certain point?
I think what we said was we're going to close it same day as the transfer deadline. The window slams shut on the 1st of September. So you can join before then. We're going to close it after then. Stop any sharks coming in at the deck.
To do a transfer deadline post with Harry Redknapp on or Big Sam, won't you?
We'll do a pod and we'll all wear yellow ties. How about that?
Defo. No, great. Well, listen, let's get the bets on. We'll sort the bets the next day or so. We'll pop a post on to try and get some input from any followers. We're up to 50 followers now, so we're flying. Surely one of them. Joel, good seeing you as well, mate. Good for your input.
You too, Carl. Nice one.
You're the only one that understands the rules as well.
But I've got to do a bit of revision every time there's an incident. I think I'm going to get.
To be fair, Joel, you came up with the suggestions this week, so it was on you. So fair play to you. I think you were prepped and ready, waiting for the questions. So
yeah, I've done that work this week.
Yeah.
The question might be for you next time you come on, any more rules going to catch anyone out? Any surprises?
Probably that the goalkeeper in the corner one.
Yeah, someone fell for it, didn't he?
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but
I didn't see it, but did the referee give it like a boxing referee? Did he use his fingers?
You count down from 5. So you start with 8. First 3 are in your head, and then you count down from 5.
And did
you give the corner.
And did he do it? And did the keeper keep holding the ball even though he was counting down, or did he not?
Yeah, he was like looking to release it, but he didn't. I think it was the Spurs game, because then Richarlison tried to get the ball off him quickly.
Yeah.
And then tried to take it to the corner, but yeah, strange one.
That's poor, that, because obviously everyone knew about that rule change, didn't they? Obviously, and for the keeper, there's only one change. So if you've got the ball for 8 seconds, just
release it,
kick it down the pitch. I'll have to watch that back. That's hilarious. That.
And Joel, has that rule got down to the level that you're refereeing then?
Yeah, I haven't seen it given. I went to watch our Sam ref on Wednesday, a pre-season game, and I only seen him put his hand up in the air once. The keeper was just sort of holding it like that on the edge of his box. He didn't enforce it because he released it in the end, but yeah, it's all the way down.
Fair play.
So I'll report back if I have any incidents of it.
Great stuff.
In my games.
Brilliant session, that, boys. Nice one. Really good.
Sounds.
Nice one.
Boys. Take it easy. I'll catch you later.
See you later. See you, Joel.
Ta-ra.